What's good YouTube, it's Adam from Music Mobile. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're gonna go ahead and remake from scratch Lil Uzi Vert's What You Saying. The tempo for this one is 133 beats per minute, and the track is produced by MCVertt. Now I know there was an official beat breakdown from MCVertt himself, the producer of the track, but there were a couple things missing in that video, and I want to show you how to go about that in this one. So let's get straight to it. So we're gonna kick things off by bringing in the sample that was used in this track. But before we do that, we're gonna select our tempo mode over to automatic mode. This way, when we bring in that sample, everything will be automatically lined up and make it easy for us to chop it up. So the sample used in this track is Indila's Love Story. Logic will analyze that track, do its thing. We're gonna chop up a couple different parts of this track. Take note that the signature of this track is in 3/4, whereas the What You Saying track is in 4/4. So just keep note of that, because we're gonna have to do something to the sample later to go from 3/4 to 4/4. To start things off, we're just gonna take the top portion over here, go 8 bars in length. We're gonna take this keyboard. That's the main keyboard of the track. All right, so I'm just gonna chop on the one, so on beat 1 and the end of bar 8. So now we got a nice 8 bar loop. We're also going to do some stem splitting here as well, but we'll come back to that a little later. Let's get to that second cut. So the second cut can be found right here. We're going to need the bass as well as the vocals from this section. All right, so we're going to go ahead and chop up on the 1 and on the 8. So that is at bar 26, and we're going to bar 34. And then we're going to go ahead and jump a little bit forward to that big chorus section where everything becomes big in this track, as well as a Lil Uzi Vert's track. And that can be found right on the next section over here at bar 34. And we're just going to stretch this out to 16 bars because we get the other vocals and drums and stuff in there as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and chop that up as well. So to break down, we got one chop for the keyboards, second chop for the vocals and the bass, and then over here we need the background instrumentation, the vocals, as well as some of the drums in there as well, like that little drum fill over here. All right, so what we're gonna do now is go to this first one, go stem split, and we're just gonna go ahead and take the other portion of this one here, just so that we get rid of those vocals at the end here. So see, the vocals will be gone now. All right, that's good. Let's go over to our next section. So I'm going to control click that. We're going to go to stem splitter. Actually, I use stem splitter a lot, so it's in my list, but if you go control click, I'll show you where to find it. Go to processing, stem splitter, and then we'll select what we want from this section of the sample. We're going to take the vocals and we're going to take the other as well. Hit apply. And we're going to isolate the bass portion of this with some EQ. All right, we'll do that a little later and we get the vocals isolated. All right, and then we're going to go to our third chop, which is the big part of the track, and we want a lot of stuff here. So we're going to go stem split. We're going to take the vocals, we're going to take the drums, and we'll take the other. So let's go ahead and apply. And we get everything we need. All right, we get that little drum fill that we needed. And of course, the vocals. Now what we got to do is make sure that the flex mode is turned on all these regions. When we change the tempo, it's going to automatically stretch the new tempo. So we're going to select all of these tracks here. Actually, we can just turn this on over here, and we'll just turn on flex mode on each one of these tracks. This one, and this one. This way, once again, when we change the tempo to What You Saying's tempo, it's going to automatically stretch accordingly. And we'll also need to create a new signature as well. So let's go ahead and just mute this out. We can hide this. We don't need it anymore. We're going to hit this icon over here. We're going to select a new tempo, click new set, and I'm going to put in the tempo of 133 for What You Saying. Hit enter. And then we're going to go ahead to our signature and create a new signature, and it's going to be 4/4. And like I said, we're going to have to adjust the way these samples are stretched, because when it's going from 3/4 to 4/4, it's a little bit different. All right, so let's start off with the different sections now. We'll go section A, or the intro. So for the intro, we're going to need the bass from here that we talked about, that we're going to filter out with some EQ, and the keyboard here. So for the keyboard, what we're going to do first things first is stretch out the tempo to go from 3/4 to 4/4. So we're just going to take this, let's just line it up on the one here. So I'm going to go Control click. We're going to move to playhead position. This way we line it up. And you see how it's 2 bars short? We're just going to go ahead and stretch that out. All right, oh, not that. Stretch it out. And now we're at 8 bars. All right, so that's all we got to do to go from 3/4 to 4/4. But we're not done yet. We also got to change the pitch of the sample as well. So we're going to select our sample and go Option arrow up to pitch it up 1 semitone. The key is in B minor. All right, now let's go ahead and get our bass sample. Let's just label these so that we can know what we're doing here. Here's our bass. Let's take this, I'm going to drag it over, and I'm going to do the same thing here, right? We're just going to find these squiggly lines until we move our mouse here, stretch it out to make it a 4/4. All right, out of key, you got to pitch this up 1 semitone, Option arrow up. But we don't want that high stuff, so we're going to go ahead and just focus on the bass with some EQ. Now on the bass as well, we're going to add a little bit of distortion to it with some bit crushing. So we're going to go ahead and just bring in Logic's bit crusher. Just bring that down a bit. Makes it a little bit dirty, if you will. And then we get to the part that wasn't mentioned in the official beat breakdown for this track, and it's the strings. There is a strings accompaniment to the entire track, and that was recorded by and arranged by Larry Gold. So I'm going to go ahead and try my best to recreate that authentic string sound here using Logic stock instruments. So we're going to go ahead and create a new software instrument track, and we're going to bring in, go to our library browser, we're going to go over to our studio strings, we'll go to section instruments, and we're going to bring in the King's Cross preset. All right, next, let's go ahead and draw on that pattern. Just going to stretch that out, and we're just drawing a little run here of 2 notes. And then for the second half, we're going to get a little bit of harmony on these strings. And then we get another nice little run over here. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead to stretch this out. I'm going to go and change this over to the brush tool. I'll change over my scale quantize to B minor so I can draw in the notes rather easily. And we're just going to go and put a nice little run here. So we're going to start off at E right here. And we're just going to go down like that. All right, so everything together sounds like this. All right, so that is the intro part. Next, let's go over to section B. So what we're gonna do here is copy over the bass and the keys. All right, and then we're going to go over to our big chorus section over here. And what we're going to do is just move this over to the 1. Actually, I'm just going to line it up properly because it's not lining up exactly. So we'll go control click, we'll move to the playhead position. And we got to go ahead and stretch this out over to 16 bars. All right, and we're going to chop it up over here in the middle at 8. We're going to go ahead and take this big section over here, and we're going to bring that to here. It's going to sound like this. Now it's not in key because we got to go ahead and pitch that up 1 semitone as well. All samples must match, up 1 semitone. And then next for the section, we just got to bring in some drums, that kick and that click. So let's go and create a new software instrument track. Whoa, that's not a software instrument track. And we're going to go over to our library browser. We're going to go over to user patches. We're going to go to drum kits. And I'm going to bring in the What You Saying drum kit. And we'll start off with that kick. All right, and that pattern basically just duplicates itself. That one over. All right, next let's go ahead and put an adaptive limiter on the master because I am clipping a little bit. So I'm just going to bring in Logic's adaptive limiter. All right, next let's get to that click. That is it for section B. Next, let's get to section C. All right, so what we're going to do over here is just copy over pretty much everything here. All right, so this is the big loud string section. So we're going to bring that back to over here and keep this original A part for that big chorus section. All right, but we're going to go ahead and bring that up 1 semitone. Option arrow up is the shortcut, or you can go up to here, select your region and go transpose 1. I'm just going to increase the volume on this as well so it's a little bit more matched. Then we're going to get in some vocals here. So we're going to take our full stems from up here. For the vocals, we'll just bring this down. All right, and we're just going to bring it into this section here. Now it's not lining up on my grid that I want, so I'm just going to move this event to the playhead position, and we're going to stretch this out to the full 16 bars. Let me get this. Sorry, before we do that, pitch it up 1 semitone. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and bring down the drums. So we have that little drum roll over here as well. So let's go ahead and move this event to playhead position and stretch that out to the 16 bars. And we'll take out this last piece here. And we can leave it in, I guess. And then we're gonna go ahead and put in a couple more vocal shouts here. Alright, I'm just going to copy this over the entire pattern as well. And then in the background we get like another Vox breath sample. Nothing too crazy. I'll just do something like that. And we'll just repeat that over the course of the entire section. Just bring that down in volume. And then we get some strings on this section as well, and it basically just follows the melody of the vocals.
Dans ces love story, dans ces love story, dans ces love story, c'est love story.
All right, that's it for section C. Next, let's get to section D. So we're just going to copy over all of the drums, and what we're going to do here is take this vocal part, the last vocal that we need, and we're going to move it over, but actually I'm just going to move that over there as well, the big chorus part. We're going to drag that over, and we're going to line it up on the one. Once again, for some reason, it's just not lining up in this session, so we're going to move that, and we're going to stretch this out to 8 bars to go from 3/4 to 4/4. All right, and we get this. Not on the right key, pitch it up 1 semitone. Then it goes back into section C, or at least this vocal part. And that's pretty much the beat right there. Next, I'm going to mix it, arrange it, and when we come back, we'll take a listen to how everything sounds together. That right there is Lil Uzi Vert's What You Saying remade in Logic Pro. For Logic Pro users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you. List it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. You can export MIDI stems, audio stems, and of course include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that entire playback down below the like button as well. If you have any questions on this or just want to chat or have any suggestions for future videos, let's go chat down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.